Why read Lu Xun's Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk today? Childhood memories are like a flower, blooming at dawn and wilting at dusk, yet releasing a lingering fragrance through the years. Lu Xun's Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk is such a work, weaving 10 essays that thread together his childhood and youth. It chronicles moments from his hometown in Shaoxing to his studies in Beijing. This is not merely a personal memoir but a mirror reflecting the social upheavals of late Qing and early Republican China. With delicate prose, blending humor and sharp critique, Lu Xun sketches the chirping insects of the 100 Herb Gardens, the rough kindness of Long Mama, and the rigorous scholarship of Mr. Fujino. He also exposes the decay of feudal rituals and the budding of new ideas. Each essay is a seed, embedding profound reflections on humanity, tradition, and the era. Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk was written in 1926, during a time of intense ideological and societal conflict for Lu Xun. China was transitioning from feudal monarchy to modernity, caught between warlord chaos and cultural renewal. With his pen as a blade, Lu Xun sought to awaken a slumbering nation. This collection is both a personal retrospection and a dissection of the old era, infused with hopes for a new one. It shows us how an intellectual finds meaning in memory's fragments, using small stories to leverage grand social critiques. To interpret this book, we'll explore 5 dimensions: historical context, character destinies, textual symbolism, thematic depth, and cultural resonance. We'll uncover how Lu Xun uses childhood memories to reflect the complexity of humanity and the transience of eras. 1. Historical context, the backdrop of late Qing and early Republican China. To grasp the depth of Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk, we must step into the turbulent late Qing and early Republican era Lu Xun depicts. This was a time when old orders crumbled and new hopes emerged. The Opium War's cannon fire forced China's gates open, and the Treaty of Nanjing reduced it to a semi-colonial state. The Qing historical records noted that during the Guangxu era, foreign powers carved out spheres of influence, with concessions dotting the coast. The ethnic crisis was unprecedented. The 1898 Hundred Days Reform aimed to save the nation but ended in failure, with Tan Sitong and 5 others executed at Kaishaku. The 1911 Shanghai Revolution toppled the monarchy, yet warlord fragmentation and social chaos followed. Lu Xun's childhood and youth unfolded against this backdrop. Shaoxing, his hometown, was a quintessential water town. The Zhejiang Gazetteer describes Shaoxing as a place of rivers, conservative customs, and strong clan ties. Lu Xun's Ho family, once a scholarly lineage, had fallen into decline by his father's generation. The 100 Herb Gardens and the 3 Flavors study were central to his childhood. The 100 Herbs Garden was a free paradise of chirping insects and wildflowers, embodying unrestrained youth. The 3 Flavors study, a private school, symbolized feudal education's rigidity with its stern tutoring and dull classics. These settings are not just personal memories but snapshots of late Qing Jiangnan society. Shaoxing's stone-paved lanes, peddlers with shoulder poles, temple fair gongs, and theater crowds carried a rich traditional flavor. Yet the self-strengthening movement introduced new schools and Western books. Lu Xun's brother, Zhou Shuren, noted in his diary that their home held texts like outlines of new learning. This hints at subtle traces of change. Shaoxing's black awning boats coexisted with Western clocks, blending tradition and modernity. This formed the backdrop of Lu Xun's childhood memories. In 1898, Lu Xun left for Nanjing to study at the Jiangnan Naval Academy, later switching to the mining and railway school. There, he encountered evolution theory and Western science, sparking his intellectual awakening. In 1902, he sailed to Japan, enrolling in Sendai Medical College under Fujino Genkuro. The essay Mr. Fujino in Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk recounts this period. The late Qing study abroad wave was a microcosm of Chinese intellectuals' quest to save the nation. According to historical records of late Qing studies abroad, tens of thousands studied in Japan from 1900 to 1910, including Lu Xun. Japan's modernization and Meiji Restoration success inspired his thoughts on China's future. Yet racial discrimination and cultural alienation made him feel the loneliness of a foreign land. In his Japanese lodging, reading on evolution, he gazed at unfamiliar cherry blossoms and kimono-clad passersby. This clash of Chinese and Western cultures shaped his worldview. Returning to the creation of Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk, 1922, China was at the peak of the New Culture movement. Hu Xi championed vernacular literature, Chen Duxiu advocated democracy and science, and Lu Xun critiqued feudal culture with his incisive pen. His call to arms and hesitation confronted social ills directly, while Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk dissected the old era gently yet sharply through memory. The Shaoxing and Beijing of the essays are both Lu Xun's personal recollections and stages for late Qing's social transformation. The oppression of feudal rituals, the decay of clan systems, and the impact of foreign cultures intertwined in his prose. They form a complex historical tapestry. In the preface to Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk, Lu Xun writes, "There was a time when I often recalled the fruits and vegetables I ate in my hometown as a child." This is not just nostalgia but a complex emotion towards a bygone era. Character destinies, Lu Xun and his cast of figures. The heart of Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk is Lu Xun's self-portrait, but its charm lies in the vivid characters he depicts. Long Mama, Mr. Fujino, Fan Ainong, and his father's silhouette are not just individuals in his memory but emblems of the era and humanity. With keen observation and sharp critique, Lu Xun carves out their fates, reflecting his inner world. Lu Xun presents a multifaceted self in the essays, both the innocent boy of childhood and the incisive thinker of adulthood. In From 100 Herb Garden to 3 Flavors Study, he recalls playing in the garden and studying in the school, his tone humorous yet critical. He writes, "Our backyard had green vegetable patches, smooth stonewall curbs, tall soapberry trees, and purple mulberries. This is not just scenery but a longing for childhood freedom." Yet the 3 Flavors studies man's nature is originally good and the tutor's severity imposed feudal education's constraints. Tutor Xu Jingwu demanded recitation of the Analects, punishing errors harshly. This oppression made young Lu Xun both fearful and rebellious. He jests about the tutor's ruler but reflects on the flaws of old education. This conflicted emotion runs through his growth. He cherishes childhood's purity yet loathes the traditions that stifled it, making him a warm yet sharp narrator. Long Mama is one of the most vivid figures in Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk. In Long Mama and the Classic of Mountains and Seas, Lu Xun portrays this coarse yet kind nanny. Illiterate and superstitious, she took up most of the bed, much to young Lu Xun's annoyance. Her tales of long hairs typing rebels kept him awake with fear, yet they revealed folk memories of the typing rebellion. But her efforts to buy the Classic of Mountains and Seas for him touched Lu Xun deeply. He writes, "These 4 volumes were my first and most cherished treasures." Long Mama represents working-class women, reflecting Lu Xun's nuanced view of humanity. Ignorant yet sincere, foolish yet warm, she earns his respectful portrayal. Zhou Shuren, in Lu Xun's family, notes that Long Mama was a loyal Ho family servant named Chan, her real name lost to time. Her roughness and kindness profoundly influenced the brothers. Long Mama's story evokes the struggles of late Qing women, toiling under clan systems yet offering small acts of warmth. Mr. Fujino is a pivotal figure from Lu Xun's youth. In Mr. Fujino, Lu Xun recalls his time with this teacher in Japan. Fujino Genkuro treated him without national bias, meticulously correcting his notes and even checking on his health. Lu Xun writes, "In my eyes and heart, his character is great, though his name is little known." Fujino's rigor and fairness warmed Lu Xun, showing humanity's potential to transcend borders. Yet Lu Xun also notes the taunts of Japanese classmates and a jarring incident, a slide showing a Japanese execution of a Chinese, met with his peers' laughter but piercing his heart. These experiences led him to abandon medicine for literature to save the nation. Fujino's image is both a personal virtue and a symbol of Sino-Japanese cultural exchange. According to the Chronicle of Lu Xun, Fujino kept Lu Xun's photos in his later years, a testament to their bond. His sincerity remains a bright spot in Lu Xun's memory. Fan Ainong is a tragic figure in the collection. In Fan Ainong, Lu Xun recounts this revolutionary's turbulent life. Talented and part of the Restoration Society, Fan's blunt nature led to misfortune. After the Shanghai Revolution, he remained despondent and died drunk in a drowning accident. Lu Xun writes, "His death was one that should not have been." Fan's fate mirrors the struggles of late Qing intellectuals. He and Lu Xun met in Japan, sharing both friendship and disputes. Fans mocked Lu Xun's Q, while Lu Xun scoffed at his radicalism, yet their shared ideals reconciled them. This complex bond reveals the tension between revolutionary ideals and harsh realities. Similar stories appear in Call to Arms, like the fallen scholar Kong Yiji, another tragic emblem of the era. The image of Lu Xun's father is especially heavy in father's illness. Lu Xun recalls his father, Ho Fengqi, during his sickness, writing, "I always felt he was covered in dust." His father's decline paralleled the family's fall, stirring guilt and helplessness in Lu Xun. He hired a quack doctor, Chen Lianhe, whose misdiagnosis hastened his father's death. The Chronicle of Lu Xun notes that Ho Fengqi's early death haunted Lu Xun for years. This guilt permeates the essay's somber tone. His father's silhouette is not just a personal memory but a symbol of traditional families' powerlessness amid change. Xu Ziking's back similarly evokes a father's farewell, both authors conveying filial love and sorrow, though Lu Xun's tone is colder. These characters' fates intertwine with Lu Xun's self-reflection. He is both memory's narrator and the era's critic. His pen avoids simple good or evil, offering deep insights into humanity. Long Mama's ignorance and kindness, Fujino's fairness and limits, Fan's passion and tragedy all reflect the complex humanity of late Qing China. Textual symbolism, imagery and critique in memory. Blossoms Plucked at Dusk uses fragmented memories as vessels for profound symbolism and critique. The chirping insects of the Hundred Herb Garden, the images of cats, and the father's silhouette are not just Lu Xun's memories but metaphors for society and humanity. Analyzing these symbols and events reveals the depth of his thoughts. The Hundred Herbs Garden is the collection's most poetic image. In From Hundred Herb Garden to Three Flavors Study, Lu Xun describes its natural charm. No need to mention the green vegetable patches, smooth stonewell curbs, tall soapberry trees, or purple mulberries, nor the cicadas singing in the leaves, fat wasps on cauliflowers, or swift skylarks darting from grass to sky. This vivid prose symbolizes childhood's freedom and innocence. Legends of beauty snakes and bird-catching tricks captivated young Lu Xun. Yet the garden's joy contrasts with the Three Flavors Study's rigidity, where tutor Xu Jingwu's ruler and Confucian classics stifled him. Lu Xun uses this contrast to critique feudal education's stagnation. Lu Xun's diary confirms he studied at the Three Flavors Study, where Xu, though strict, sparked his curiosity. The garden versus the study is not just a childhood memory but a metaphor for tradition versus freedom, reflecting late Qing's cultural tensions. Cats are a complex symbol in the collection. In Dog, Cat, Rat, Lu Xun uses cats to critique society's gentlemanly hypocrites. He writes, "A cat's claws are limited. A rat that fears not will never be eaten." Ostensibly about cats and rats, he targets those who feign virtue while oppressing the weak. He recalls hating cats for eating his pet rabbit as a child, but as an adult, he loathes what cats represent authorities exploiting the vulnerable. He references late Qing gentlemen like cheating scholars or sycophantic officials. This critique ties to his 1920s reality. Teaching at Peking University, he witnessed academic hypocrisy and factionalism. These observations infuse the cat's image with sharp social commentary. Zhou Shuren's essay, The Eradication of Cats, similarly uses cats symbolically, both brothers targeting societal flaws. The father's silhouette is one of the collection's most poignant images. In Father's Illness, Lu Xun recalls Hou Fengqi's decline. "I always felt he was covered in dust." His father's frailty mirrored the family's fall, evoking guilt and helplessness. He describes hiring the quack Chen Lianhe, whose absurd remedies hastened his father's death. The Chronicle of Lu Xun notes Hou Fengqi's death left Lu Xun guilt-ridden for years. This emotion weighs heavily in the essay's tone. The father's silhouette is both a personal memory and a symbol of traditional families' collapse amid change. Zhu Ziking's Back echoes this, with a father's farewell stirring similar emotions, though Lu Xun's tone is more austere. Miss Yan is another striking figure. In Fragments, Lu Xun depicts this neighbor's hypocrisy and snobbery. Kind on the surface, she spreads gossip and encourages misdeeds while dodging blame. He writes, "She was a woman well versed in etiquette, teaching us to wash our hands after meals." This ironic tone exposes the hypocrisy of late Qing ritual culture. Miss Yan evokes Shaoxing's clan society, warm yet rife with suspicion. The Shaoxing County Gazetteer notes that Shaoxing's clan culture valued etiquette, but bred pretense and rivalry. Through Miss Yan, Lu Xun critiques these cultural flaws. These symbols and events form the collection's core tension. Lu Xun starts with childhood trivia but points to grand societal issues. Feudal oppression, intellectuals' confusion, and foreign cultural impacts woven through his prose, forming a deep reflection on the era. His language is humorous yet incisive, as in the 24 filial exemplars, where he mocks the absurdity of Guo burying his son. This story is simply too bizarre. This blunt critique gives the essay's piercing force. 4. Thematic depth, questioning humanity and echoes of the era. Blossoms Plucked at Dusk transcends personal memoirs to probe humanity, tradition, and modernization. Through essays, Lu Xun explores individuals' places in history's tides, offering modern readers a mirror for reflection. First, his view of humanity is richly complex. His characters' Long Mama's kindness, Miss Yan's hypocrisy, Fujino's sincerity, Fan Ainong's tragedy form a spectrum of human nature. Lu Xun praises truth and beauty while exposing ugliness and falsehood. In the preface to Call to Arms, he writes, "I am but an intermediary." This self-view permeates Blossoms Plucked at Dusk, where he is both childhood's participant and adulthood's critic. His observations prompt us to consider how humanity distorts or shines amid tradition and modernity's clashes. Long Mama's ignorance and sincerity remind us that the poor's kindness is often overlooked. Fan Ainong's passion and failure reveal the tragic fate of idealists. Second, Lu Xun's stance on tradition is nuanced and dialectical. He cherishes the 100 Herb Garden's freedom but critiques the Three Flavors Study's rigidity. He respects Long Mama's sincerity but mocks her superstitions. In the 24 filial exemplars, he sharply condemned feudal filial piety's hypocrisy, calling tales like lying on ice for carp and Guo burying his son and man-eating rituals. He writes, these stories feel utterly inhuman. This critique targets feudal culture's core. Yet he doesn't wholly reject tradition, seeking renewal through critique. The madman in Call to Arms, crying "Save the Children," embodies his hope for a new era. This aligns with the new culture movement, where Hu Shi's reorganizing national heritage contrasts with Lu Xun's radical push to break tradition's chains. Finally, Lu Xun's thoughts on modernization are prescient. His Japan studies showed him modernization's potential but also its cultural pains. In Mr. Fujino, he appreciates his teacher's fairness but mourns his peers' prejudice. He writes, "I realized medicine wasn't crucial. Even healthy, weak-spirited citizens are just fodder for spectacle." This tension led him from medicine to literature to awaken the nation. His choice prompts us to see modernization as not just technological but intellectual liberation. His new youth essays, advocating science and democracy, echo Chen Duxiu's ideals. Today, amid globalization and cultural diversity, Lu Xun's insights remain relevant. The collection's themes also evoke modern individual struggles. Couriers braving heat, teachers holding classrooms, doctors saving lives. These echo Long Mama's and Fan Ainong's quiet dignity. In history's tides, they may not alter its course but write their own stories of worth. Lu Xun's tales urge us to hear overlooked voices, whose efforts underpin progress. In 2020, Wuhan courier Wang Yang, organizing aid during the pandemic, mirrors Long Mama's small acts of warmth. 5. Cultural resonance, childhood memories and the spirit of the era. Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk captivates not just for Lu Xun's memories but for embodying late Qing cultural spirits. Its childhood anecdotes reflect the era's openness and oppression, tradition and reform. We'll explore this resonance in 3 layers: late Qing's openness, intellectuals' duties, and ordinary people's wisdom. First, the collection captures late Qing's open spirit. This era marked China's global engagement, with the self-strengthening movement and student abroad waves bringing Western learning eastward. In Nanjing, Lu Xun read on evolution, grasping survival of the fittest. In Japan, he witnessed the Meiji Restoration's triumphs. These experiences color Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk's details. In Mr. Fujino, he depicts Japanese classrooms and streets, cherry blossoms, and kimono-clad lanes, showing Sino-Western cultural clashes. Late Qing's openness also appears in Shaoxing's subtle shifts. The Shaoxing County Gazetteer notes new schools and telegraph offices in the late Qing. Lu Xun's cousin Ho Hongxiang taught at a modern school, and their home had Western lamps and clocks. Though not explicit in the essays, these form the backdrop of Lu Xun's memories, reflecting the era's noblesse. Second, the collection reflects intellectuals' sense of duty. In late Qing's national crisis, intellectuals bore the weight of saving the nation. In Mr. Fujino, Lu Xun writes, "I felt the preparatory medical curriculum needed reform." Abandoning medicine for literature stemmed from his focus on national spirit. His duties resonated with peers like Tan Sitong, who wrote before the 100 Days Reform, "I laugh, wielding my sword at the heavens, my heart torn between 2 peaks." This sacrificial spirit aligns with Lu Xun's pen. Fan Ainong's tragic fate in the collection mirrors intellectuals' struggles between ideals and reality. Through memory, Lu Xun ponders this duty, a theme extended in the New Culture movement. Finally, Dawn Blossoms Plucked at Dusk highlights ordinary people's survival wisdom. Late Qing's rigid hierarchy made life hard for the masses, yet they honed unique resilience. Long Mama embodies this wisdom. Illiterated, she memorized long hair tales through oral tradition. Superstitious, she still secured the classic of mountains and seas for Lu Xun. Her wisdom sprang from love for life and sincerity towards children. Lu Xun writes, "Her long hair stories kept me awake in fear." This is both a childhood jest and a record of her resilience. Similar tales appeared in late Qing folklore, like strange stories from a Chinese studio, where commoners face hardship with wit and kindness. Through Long Mama, Lu Xun illuminates the masses' faint glow in history. The collection's resonance prompts reflection on its modern relevance. Childhood memories remain bridges between individuals and eras. Each person's 100-herb garden might be a rural field or urban alley, holding traces of their time. Lu Xun's story inspires us to draw strength from memory to face today's challenges in a fast-changing world. His critical spirit urges us to balance technological progress with cultural heritage and human warmth. Conclusion: the echoes of memory and life's questions. Dawn blossoms plucked at dusk strings childhood blossoms into Lu Xun's meditations on humanity and history. The 100-herb garden's insects, Long Mama's roughness, Mr. Fujino's teachings. These are not just Lu Xun's treasures but snapshots of late Qing China. With warm prose, he recalls the past. With a cold gaze, he dissects reality. His essays teach us that history is not just grand upheavals but countless individuals' joys and sorrows. Reading this book, we might ask, what traces of my era hidden in my childhood memories? In today's world, how do we find our place between tradition and modernity? Lu Xun's story has no end. It lives on in everyone who reflects on themselves. May we all, on life's journey, pluck our own dawn blossoms and savor life's bittersweetness at dusk. No matter how times change, individual persistence and thoughts remain history's most stirring echoes.